frontier is defined as uncharted territory.
It basically got out of its natural balance.
By land or ocean. Those who chart that territory tell a story. The past illustrates the blueprint for the present, how things are and how they've evolved. From land to water, we are challenged to border that new frontier, a frontier the outdoorsman knows like no other. Author Gary Lewis works his way along that edge of where discoveries, failures, and achievements have written the story of the sportsman. From state to state, continent to continent, the stories told create the foundation of the present, and they lay the framework for the future. Through the muzzle fire and on the stone are stories from the edge.
Water is the most important thing as far as Indians are concerned, because that's life.
The past is written, the present is here, and this is Frontier Unlimited.
The hunter with the rifle, whether a New Zealander or outsider, can make a difference. Og and Don and Hillary think it's important because there are more Tahr and chamois in New Zealand than the countries from which they came from. In a way, that can be demonstrated any day in the field. The hunter, in a helicopter or on foot, is at the forefront of conservation of plants, mammals, and birds. With the manner in which the Tahr had hit the ground after the shot, Don knew it wouldn't make it far. This is Gary Lewis's third time hunting in New Zealand. After observing a helicopter-assisted hunt for Himalayan tahr high up on the South Island, we go to the ground game.
We've been hunting around here for the last 4 or 5 years. This time of the year we're still in April, so the bulls still aren't quite with nannies. And this time of the year we've been seeing mobs of bulls, the bachelor group still in here. And with these shady faces, you'll generally find that that's where the tahr are hanging out in the morning, especially the big guys.
Outside of Fairleigh, Lewis and crew zero in on the very elusive animal.
Look through there, Gary. Can you just see the top of his back? Right smack bang in the middle is just a black bit in the snowgrass.
I see nothing.
Unbelievable how they can hide in it.
Yeah, you look up there, you don't think it could hide an animal that big.
But the thing is, there's about 20 there. There's 20 animals on his face somewhere, but you just can't see them. When they're still coming out of their summer capes, they blend in really well with the snowgrass, and they just hide really well. We're quite lucky now because they're coming into their winter capes. We're sort of getting into later part of April, so they're caping up well for this time of year. The tahr, you'll see them, ones that you see out on the mountaintops, they'll come down into the low draws and drainages like this, and then they move out onto the high country. But these ones here, they've come down and moved out into this easier country with a lot of snowgrass. And it just so happens that these don't go all the way out into high rocky outcrop mountains like over the other side. See this main gut that goes straight up.
Pog spots the back of a Himalayan tahr in the sunlight, almost impossible to see by the naked eye, but Pog's eyes are practiced. The fallow buck observes on the lower ground as they determine whether going after the tahr is a feasible option.
Should we make a play for him?
Yeah, I think so. He looks like quite a good bull. He's just catching in the light what I can see in the scope. His horns are just starting to round around, so they don't have that little straight point. So that is a good indication that he's a good bull to pursue. So we're in a good position. We've got a fellow stag who surprised us. He's about 200 yards up the hill from us here, but we're in a good position. We've got some good ridges that we can hunt up.
Yeah, and you got all day.
Yeah, we've got all day. It's only 11 o'clock. We can get up and remain sort of out of sight. It's just the wind's playing games on us a wee bit at the moment. It's sort of swirling around where we are. So.
Pog Cameron knows these roads well, as he's spent time with his father and his sisters exploring this open country, looking for Himalayan tahr. They are connected to the land. Here, the preservation of the land is a higher value than the wealth of its wild mammals. A light fall breeze comes up the slopes of the hills as they silently keep an eye for movement.
It's a fellow stag down in the valley just here somewhere. He's croaking away, sounds like a big bullfrog. Wherever he is, he's really, really waspy.
Nice fallow buck out here right in the middle of the day. He looks like he's chasing a female. And he's just calling and calling and calling. And there's another deer. I haven't been able to get a look at it. Just moving ahead of him in the brush.
The hunter with the rifle, whether a New Zealander or outsider, can make a difference. Hog and Dawn and Hillary think it's important because there are more Tahr and chamois in New Zealand than the countries from which they came from. Members of our party hunted 3 Tahr and chamois from the helicopter. Dan Getz, owner of Warren Scope Mounts, was one of those hunters. The hunter with the rifle, whether a New Zealander or outsider, can make a difference. Hog and Dawn and Hillary think it's important because there are more Tahr and chamois in New Zealand than the countries from which they came from. There are few Tahr in the Himalayas and few chamois in the Alps, but they run in great numbers in this young country. After watching the hills, Lewis and crew decide to make it up to the top of the mountain to try to get behind the Himalayan Tahr they spotted from down below in the creek bottom. This country is wide and open, but the snowgrass provides a perfect cover for the Himalayan Tahr's cape.
We're going straight around here at this level. Hopefully we'll be able to see down onto them. Okay, sweet.
The wind is good, in our favor, but the Tahr are nowhere to be found.
I might just sneak out over here and have a look. Okay.
Hog says these are the hardest animal in New Zealand to hunt. And I say, I've never seen an animal that's so hard to spot and to judge them. But I know he's got it dialed.
After not spotting the Tahr in their original location, they go side hill. There are more Tahr on this mountain, even if you can't see them. Over the shady face, Gary spots a Tahr. It's a one worth taking.
He's down at 200 yards, and he's just working across that little gap in the hill. And we should have a chance at him here in a minute.
The bull Tahr makes its way down the hill, refusing Lewis a clean shot. But side hill, more are spotted.
How far is it? We're going to go back up around this hill and get out in front of those.
As the sun lowers behind the hill and light fades on the hillside, the Tahrs start to move. Down the road the other side, one is spotted.
There were 3 together, 2 of them were big ones, and they split off, leaving the little one to draw the hunter's attention.
Don't know this yet too well. Man, we were close though. Well, I'm glad that was the wrong one, because he was across the top of that hill. He gave me an easy shot, but that's not the shot to take. Skyline like that. But it's cool to see him. And I was glad I went. I've been going to the gym every day for the last 5 weeks. And I was glad he's wearing 2 packs.
In a way, that can be demonstrated any day in the field. The hunter, in a helicopter or on foot, is at the forefront of conservation of plants, mammals, and birds. On Lewis's first day, on foot, carrying a rifle, he was close to a big Tahr on a couple of occasions, but neither situation offered an ethical shot. In a way, that can be demonstrated any day in the field. The hunter, in a helicopter or on foot, is at the forefront of conservation of plants, mammals, and birds.
Down in the southern Alps, Don Cameron, the patriarch of the family, takes Gary to the hills above the ranch to try and find a good bull Tahr. Lewis loads his .26 Nosler rifle as Don bars Mr. Bennett, his German Shorthair, to being on the hunt. A Himalayan Tahr is like a mountain goat. A big male will go about 160 pounds. From the Himalayas, they are at home in New Zealand. And while they're endangered in the historic habitat, here in New Zealand, there are too many. There is a surplus. Gary says they are every bit as challenging as bighorn sheep or mountain goats.
We can smell him. As we were coming up the hill, I heard one move away, going away from us in the matagari bushes and the bracken. And so we're close to him. Let's see if we can get close enough to take some pictures and get a look at him.
There's another group just above that, and another group out to the left.
Okay.
I can't see any big bulls there yet.
We were looking right and left, and that this big old bull just pops out right below me. And I got Don's attention. He got a good look at it as it went over the top. To me, it looked like a nice bull. And we were really close. Yeah.
I think those big boys are going to stand up then.
Yeah.
I reckon that big fella's just all bedded down.
Yeah. Yeah,
They're
that's
not
good.
going to move.
Before there were mammals in New Zealand, there were birds, large birds, some as big as ostriches, and they fed extensively on the shrubs.
They're called variegated plants. See how tiny the leaves are?
Yeah.
And see all the wood on the outside?
Uh-huh. Makes it
So-
hard to eat.
Yeah, so as they try and eat it, I mean, it's got all these wee leaves right inside. As the animal grazes it, it just forms a basket of that dry, woody stuff on top,
Yeah.
and all the leaves are protected underneath.
Uh,
You know, that goes back to our mower days when a lot of bird grazing,
mm-hmm.
like a lot of bird grazing.
Yeah.
And these plants are adapted to be grazed,
Yes.
and they can survive.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they've got these tiny, tiny wee leaves. And
all this woody stuff as they get grazed. It just boxes up and protects them. It gets really snowy, real deep snow, and there's nothing else sticking out. Tahr will come into a little area like this and see these lichens on here?
Yeah.
They'll scrape. I've seen them sitting there in deep snow just scraping that off of their teeth.
Wow, that's all they got to eat at that point.
It's all they've got to eat. There's these little lichens growing on these rocks.
Yeah.
And you'll see them just grinding it off with their teeth. It's just nothing else.
Wow.
And that's just how amazing they are, how they can just survive.
They thrive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just survive. They're just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
With the plan set, the afternoon hunt is imminent. With the manner in which the Tahr had hit the ground after the shot, Don knew it wouldn't make it far. After a hunt high up in the hills near Fairley, and a scouting trip outside of southern Alps, an afternoon hunt was determined to be the best way to connect with the Himalayan bull Tahr for Lewis.
See a big bull.
Pretty good bull from here, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does.
Pretty big mane on it.
Yeah, wearing a big old robe.
Big old bull up here standing out, loud and proud out on this big old rock.
We'll get up there and find out.
Yeah.
And then we'll get a good look at them.
Yeah.
We'll range them. And then we'll know.
Then we'll get up real close.
A group of Tahr are spotted below, and the bull makes himself known not as often as the rest. Gary Chambers is 26 Nosler Bullet, and they know that being skyline is a dangerous spot to be for a hunter, especially in the sunlight.
I see nannies. Right here.
Gary spots nannies and other Tahr that could lead to the bull's whereabouts. They're patient. The sun sets behind the southern Alps, and the evening wind starts to die down.
He's only about 200 yards from here. Okay. We're gonna wait just a little bit and see if he feeds toward us or if he gives us a nice broadside look.
This rifle is flat out, lights out at 400 yards and more. But Lewis likes to get as close as he can.
Yeah, the big one. Give me your pack. Yeah.
His feet for a starter. So it might just be a heart shot.
Yep.
But you get a good beat on him.
Yeah.
We're going to be in his, right in his brisket.
Yeah, I was right.
It's probably a heart shot.
Yeah, I was right on his
Flattened him.
shoulders.
I'd say it's probably a heart shot.
Yeah.
With the manner in which the tar had hit the ground after the shot, Don knew it wouldn't make it far.
Good shot.
Oh,
Shot,
he's
my
a-
friend.
he's
Right
a-
through the chest, right through the heart, I'd say.
A good bull.
He's
Yeah.
a nice bull.
Wow.
Look at the mane on him.
Sheesh.
Look at the legs on him.
Yeah, he's a beast. Whoa.
He's very nice. Look at the size of
Whoa.
him. He's a hob.
Yes. This is a beast of a tar.
This is Gary's first Himalayan tar, shot in the fading light and found under the notorious New Zealand Matagari bush.
We get much better than that, Gary.
Wow. Yeah. One of the biggest tar I've seen. Man, as hard as he was hit, he still managed to get up and go, and he was out of gas running on fumes, but he made it about 30 meters, 40 meters.